JT Burcham, Hope 100.7, 88.3, 93.7 The Light. Thank you so much for joining me for People and Projects. I'm honored today to be talking with Mandy Reed, founder, director of Dear Dinah. Mandy, how you doing today?
I'm great, JT. How are you?
Good. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. We talked once a while back. It's
Yeah.
been a while.
Yeah.
You're still going strong, man. I looked at the website. You got all kinds of things going on. Keeping busy at Dear Dinah.
Yeah. The Lord's been keeping us busy.
Good. That's good. I'm going to start at the same place we kind of did last time. I love the story of how Dear Dinah kind of came to be. I mean, the Bible story and the whole thing that kind of come together. Such a neat beginning. And remind me again of Dear Dinah. What do you do and how to get started?
Yeah, of course. So we are an anti-human trafficking ministry here in Dayton, and it's kind of evolved from the beginning. So it really started as just a cry from my own heart when I learned about the realities of human trafficking. And I think I was in a place in my life where I was ready to accept that those realities were true. And if they were happening here in our city, then Lord, what do you want me to do about it? That was really my first prayer, was just, God, what do you want me to do about it? And he's so good to answer those kinds of prayers. But also, I had no idea that I was stepping into some intense darkness through that prayer as well. And so the last 4 years have been a little bit of a roller coaster of just trusting the Lord and his heart for this city, for the souls that are affected by human trafficking, because it certainly is in our city. And we are seeing that on the daily. And so it started with this cry and this prayer of, Lord, what do you want me to do? Has grown into now where we have this drop-in home. Actually, I'm sitting in here right now. We have our drop-in home downtown Dayton where women can come into this home and they can find love and support and hope in Jesus. We have food, we have clothing, we have showers, we have Bible studies and art therapy and women just ready to wrap our arms around these ladies, and they can come in here and just have a little bit of a respite and also discover that they don't have to go back out those doors if they don't want to, that we can help them to get safe and we can help to help them achieve some dreams that they may even have as well. We like to dream big here. So that's really what this house is for. It's called the Victory House. The Lord told me this was going to be a house of victory, and it certainly has been. We opened the doors in February, and we've been able to serve over 300 women here in this home since then, which has just been remarkable. So we have that. We do our street outreach, which is twice a week. We have teams going out into the darkest corners of our city, and they are just taking purses and hope and letters and Bibles and just letting these women know that they are seen and they are loved. And again, just offering them a way out. We also have, this is new, I think, since the last time we talked, we have 22 acres in New Carlisle that we are developing into a tiny home community for survivors to be able to heal and again, just live out this purpose and plan that was marked over their lives before they were even born. So, it's heavy, but the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness cannot overcome it, and we're seeing that. And it's just an honor to be able to do this work. We do a lot of trainings and awareness, and God is just moving in mighty ways.
Yeah. Well, thank you for what you're doing. I just love the heart, your heart about when this started. And you're just doing what God's called you to do, it sounds like. And I love that. So thank you for doing what you're doing. Um, Folks, how do they find your services? Is it just the Dayton area? Can folks, how does that work?
So we've actually helped women and some men also from all over the country at this point, which has been amazing. One of the ways that they find us here in the city is honestly word of mouth. A lot of times when these women come into our home and they discover that they are safe here and that they are treated with dignity here. And in turn go and share their, tell their friends about us, and they bring their friends. So a lot of this is word of mouth, which is amazing. And I think the Lord is really, really gracious to get what he is doing here out there. And then I think too, just having a lot of church partners has been a beautiful thing for us, because as needs come into the church then comes to us, and we're able to help meet a lot of those needs. So we don't do a lot of just, out there advertising. We're not trying to hide, but at the same time, it's just, so far, God's just been good to get the word out there. So a lot of women will find us either through, their friends or through the street, or they can find us online on our website too.
Yeah, which is deardina.org, by the
Yes.
way. I saw on the website you got a tiny home tour going on. How's that going?
Yes. So now, are we talking about the event in October?
Well, it looked like you take a tiny home to churches and talk at churches too. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yes. We have a lot going on. um, yeah. So our tiny home is on wheels, which makes it very easy to get it around and show people. I just really believe that it's one thing to hear about it, it's another thing to step foot inside of it, to feel the space, and to just imagine, being a soul and being handed the keys to that as their home. So we do take it to churches. We've taken it to schools before. Honestly, anybody who wants to see what God is doing and wants to show that to, their community, we want to be able to help make that possible. So we're actually going to be at, this weekend we're going to be at a church. There's a couple churches coming up in September and October that we're going to be taking it to as well. So we can tote it around most anywhere local. It's a big guy, so
Not going to Texas soon, I'm
probably
guessing.
not. No.
Now, you talk about partnering with churches. How can churches help in the ministry of Dear Dinah? What can they?
Yeah. Well, first let me just say, the biggest reason why we are partnering with churches specifically is because I believe with all my heart that human trafficking is demonic, and this is spiritual warfare. And so, if we're really truly going to fight human trafficking, we have to fight it spiritually. And that is done by the body of Christ. And so, it's important for us to strengthen, our army, so to say, in fighting this with the body. So churches get involved in all kinds of ways. I mean, some of them do it simply, and it's not small, but by bringing awareness to their church. So I've provided trainings for, entire church bodies. I've done trainings for small, for youth groups, for small prayer groups, for whatever, the size within the church, have been able to come out and just speak into what human trafficking actually is, and how the church is so beautifully unique and positioned to be able to fight against it. So that's one way, and that's a powerful way. Another way is we have churches who have men and women in their church that are volunteering with us. So they may come to the house, the women, they volunteer in the house, or we have men who are driving during our street outreach. So they're serving in that way, or coming to Selah, which is our tiny home community that we're developing. We have work crews coming out all the time working on the land. And we've had youth groups come out. We've had, retirees come out. We've had families come out. We have children's programs actually are scheduled to come out this year as well. So it's kind of a little bit for everyone, every age there. And then we also have, whenever the doors are open here, we like to serve meals. So we have a meal train, and there are amazing people in the church who sign up to bring a home cooked meal. And let me tell you, like, when those women walk in here and they are hungry and they are tired and they smell this amazing food, coming from the kitchen, it just warms their hearts and helps them feel so loved. So there's any countless ways to get involved and to support the ministry, prayer, financial, serving in person, whatever that may look like. It's really kind of an endless list of ways that you can get involved truly.
what's the vision? I heard you mention construction, and I'm guessing that's at the new farm, the new acreage.
Yeah.
What's the vision there? What's happening at the farm? What's that going to be?
Yeah, so right now we received this land a year ago, which that whole story in and of itself is incredible because the Lord gave us that land. He told me he would give it to us and then he did. So it's incredible. But the land needed quite a bit of restoration. You know, there were areas that were overgrown and we just knew for the vision that came along with the land there was going to be a lot of work just to restore and get it to that point. So right now, where we're at is we have done a lot of clearing, creating the spaces that we need for development. We have a farm area now, which has chickens and ducks, and it's about to have some goats coming in. We have a beautiful garden area that a couple churches helped create and build. And then we have our lavender field that's been tilled and ready to be planted. We have a civil engineer group that has just come alongside. They're providing all of their services for free to us, and so they're now working on permits and zoning and some of those really fun things that I know nothing about. They're helping us with that, and so hopefully our prayer is that even this spring we can start to break ground and potentially bring a road in and look at septic and some of those other areas that are like that's the reality of bringing in a community is you have to go underground too. So we're hoping that in the spring we may be able to start, with that progress. I will tell you, I get asked quite often for the time frame, and I unfortunately, fortunately, don't have one. And the simple reason for that is I don't know God's timing on this. I know He's been moving faster than I expected in a lot of ways, but I trust Him with all of it. We don't do any government funding, so we kind of move as He provides, and He has been faithful and gracious. But we're just kind of going at the pace that He has us at right now.
Hey, now time flies when we're having fun. I want to ask real quick, you've got an event coming up here in October where folks can get involved, come, have a meal, learn more. There's
Yes,
also opening for sponsorships, I believe. Yes?
yes, yes. Yeah, we would love, I mean, we would love to see everyone fill those seats in October. The real reason why we're even doing this banquet, which is going to be at the land, is because it's hard to put into words what the Lord is doing. I have a newsletter I send out every month, and every month I just sit there for a while. Like, how do I let them know all that you are doing, Lord? And so this is an opportunity to come and to be fed and to see the land firsthand. And to hear testimonies from our girls and our volunteers and just see what God is doing, and also to provide an opportunity to get involved. It's so easy to get involved, and yet sometimes all you really need is just that invitation. And so that's what this is for. It's for everyone and anyone who wants to come to be a part of it. We are looking for sponsors right now, just people who want to sew into what we're doing and to help us, make this possible. My prayer is that people will leave changed. I know the first moment I sat with the Lord really allowed Him to open my heart to this cause. I was changed. My life has not been the same since then, in the better, for the better. And so I really am praying for moments like that for the women and the men who are going to be coming out in October.
Yeah. You want to get more information, deardina.org. Um, Mandy, time flies when we're having fun. I told you we could have gone a couple hours more.
I know.
Thank you so much for what you're doing. We appreciate it. Thank you for serving this community. Thank you for being in Dayton. We're honored to have you here making our community better. So
Thank
I
you so much.
encourage folks to go to deardina.org to learn more, touch base with Mandy, and get involved with the ministry. Thank you, Mandy.
Thank you.